Okay, today we have a very fun video. We get to play with some toys today. We are going to talk about the knife laws in New York State and New York City and stuff like that. Now, New York State has several knife bans. Number one, switchblades. Now, are there legal switchblades? Like, if I have a switchblade that is this small, can I own it? I don't even know, but switchblades are on the ban list. Also, gravity knives. I saw a gravity knife on a video I saw sometime. A gravity knife is a knife that is designed by paratroopers. I want to make sure the camera's on. I'm a fucking idiot. It is. Okay. I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't know if it was on or not. Doy. Paratrooper knife. American paratroopers, French paratroopers had these knives in World War II. It's a knife handle. You push a button, you hold it upside down, and the blade drops out. Okay. The blade is in the handle. When I hold the knife upside down, the blade falls out. So, the blade is like this in the handle, and it just drops down into place. I would never buy a gravity knife. Maybe if it was legal and I wanted to buy it, just keep it in my collection. But I would never carry a gravity knife because my fear is that what if I forget to put the fucking safety on and I put it in my pocket and I sit down the wrong way? Also, you ever see Punisher with Thomas Jane, I think it was? Punisher movie. He hits a button on a knife and the blade flies out and nails the guy in the fucking throat and kills him. Those knives are illegal. Also, fixed blade knives with the knuckle on it, and I punch him in the face and fuck up your, or with the spikes on the knuckle, so you can punch the guy in the face and hit the spike in him in the fucking eye and blind him. Those things are illegal. Sword cane. 100 years ago, 150 years ago, gentlemen had suits and ties and top hats and shit. And they had walking canes. And in case they got into a little beef, or in case their wife was cheating on them, they had a cane and they would twist it and pull out a sword. Hence the term sword cane. It's a disguised blade. I'm 99% certain they're illegal. I'm 100% certain that a sword cane is illegal to own here. No, I'm 100% certain that a sword cane is illegal to carry in the street. And I'm 99% certain it is illegal to own, period. If you buy a sword cane, and Cold Steel makes them, I think, and you have it sent to your home, and you put it on display and look at it, I don't think you're bothering anybody, but if you get in trouble, don't complain to me. And then there are certain laws about carrying of knives. Now, it is illegal to carry on your person in public a knife longer than 6 inches, the blade longer than 6 inches. Okay? Now, this knife here is a K-bar knife. You put this on a sheath on your belt, and if you're strangled or sexually assaulted or kidnapped, you whip it out and you stab the guy. You don't gotta dig in your pocket for the knife. You don't gotta flip the blade of the knife out like this. You can just take this fixed blade knife right out of your pant, right out of your holster, your sheath, and stab the guy in the throat. Okay, and if he's kidnapping you, if he's sexually assaulting you, if he's trying to murder you, if he's put you in that situation, then you have to defend yourself. Okay? But this knife is only for fighting. I would not carry this as an everyday multi-tool thing. Okay, I would not reach for this to cut something. If I had to like cut a rope or cut a box open, I would not reach for this. But this is the only fixed blade knife you should carry on your person. I don't care where you live. You should not be carrying fixed blade knives like this Rambo knife on your person because you're going to attract unwanted attention. Now, that's 6 inches carrying in the public street. If you're going hunting, if you're going fishing, if you're going camping, if you're going out in the wilderness, then you're allowed to have Bowie knives, Rambo knives, okay? Other hunting fixed blade knives, the fixed blade buck knives that are really, really expensive. Axes, you have to chop firewood or something like that. Axes, machetes, if you're cutting through brush. But that's out in the wilderness, up in the mountains, out in the woods, way out in the middle of the fucking nowhere. Okay? If I walk down the street with this on my belt, I'm going to get in trouble for it. No questions asked. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm definitely going to have it confiscated. I might get arrested. I don't know, but I'm going to get in trouble. So that's just basic things. Now, if you saw my video where I look at my pre-band magazine from late 2010, I'm in my room. I'm sitting in a chair. If you look behind me with my right shoulder, you can see a medieval times sword. My uncle was the vice president of the company that built Medieval Times in New Jersey. And he gave me that sword when I was 8. He probably got it for free. And I have it hung on my wall. Some people are passionate about that. If you look at Cold Steel, they make war hammers, they make axes, they make swords, they make Scottish broadsword, cavalry sword, Japanese samurai sword. There are people that are into that shit. I don't think it's a problem. Some of them are very beautiful. You ever see that Game of Thrones on HBO? It's a great show. There's a company that makes replica swords from the Game of Thrones. There are people that have an entire wall of their house, or an entire wall of a certain room, or an entire room entirely, set up where they have axes, swords, knives, spears, javelins, ball and chain, armor, just absolutely crazy shit. That in my home state is not illegal. You buy a sword, you get it mailed to your house, you take it out of the box, you put it on display in your house, your guests come over and it's a conversation piece. That's not a problem. My state requires that, aside from the weapons that I said are blanket banned, like switchblades and knives with knuckles to punch with, okay, 99% of the knives that you can touch in New York State, it's only illegal if you have the intention of hurting someone with it. And obviously convicted felons, domestic abusers, people on probation and parole have a different standard, okay? What I do and what a convicted felon does are two different things, okay? For instance, if a cop sees me walking down the street with a knife in my pocket, he's not going to stop me, or he most likely will not. If he sees someone that he knows is a gangbanger walking down the street in a bad neighborhood in the middle of the night with his colors flying, throwing up gang signs, and he's got a knife in his pocket, the cop is going to stop him. Okay? So, most legal citizens in my home state, as long as you're not intending to hurt someone, they don't care. Okay? In public, the 6-inch knife maximum. Out in the wilderness tools and knives. Okay? In the privacy of your own home, whatever you want, just as long as you keep the kids away from it, you don't hurt anybody with it, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people have arms and armor on display in their homes. Even if you have just one sword or one axe or one shield, a lot of people have things like this. It's not a big deal. Now, New York City is its own independent country, as we've said. Okay? Spring-assisted knives. Now, I'm going to put a link to a video I just saw a few minutes ago of a young kid. His name is Cutlery Lover. It's not Jeff. It is not the Cutlery Lover you're thinking of. But this kid had 3 knives, 1 switchblade, 2 assisted open. And he's a young, it's 18, the video's about 18 months old. From like in summer of 2010. This is a fucking smart kid. He shows some really, it's like a 4-minute video. He shows a couple really nice knives, and I'm like, you know, I learned from this fucking kid. He's a really smart kid. I'm going to put his link down. Spring-assisted knife means I open the knife halfway and a spring automatically sends it up. These are not illegal in New York State. There are other knives that have the tang on them. Like I hit the tang and the knife flies up like that. These knives are not illegal in New York State. New York City is its own independent country. Now, I saw a knife penal code for New York City, but it was last updated in 1999. So odds are a lot of it is obsolete. And keeping in mind the emperor took over on January 1st, 2002, so more so to that fact obsolete. Assisted openers are not really legal in New York State. Gravity knives are not illegal in New York State. Not gravity. I already said gravity knives are illegal. I said it, fucking idiot. Butterfly knives. I meant to say butterfly knives are not illegal. If you're a really cool gangbanger, you can flip the butter knife like out like that, like real cool, like they do in the fucking movies. Most people, like myself probably, I would take the butterfly knife, peel it back, and have to lock in that thing on the bottom to lock the knife in place. I don't know if I'd ever buy a butterfly knife. I really don't. It just doesn't fucking interest me. Doesn't. They're called balisong, and butterfly knife is the slang term. It really doesn't fucking interest me a lot. It really doesn't. But they're legal in New York State, not New York City. You ever see the Cold Steel tie light? Lima Life had one on. She did a video on it. She had it in her pocket and she whipped it out. Some knives, like the Cold Steel tie light, is an example. You whip the knife out of your pocket, and as you whip it out, something catches on your pant leg and flips it open. In the 1980s, there was a case law decided. Heller versus DC was case law. Chicago, McDonald v. Chicago was case law. The judge looks at the case and the judge says, you know what? This isn't a crime. Throw it out. Or you know what? According to the definition of the law, this guy wasn't breaking the law. Throw it out. And what that means is that judge has written a law. The minute that judge says, listen, this knife does not meet the standard of the evil definition of not allowed. Legal. Throw the case out. Throw the court out. Throw the defendant out, discharge him. The judge has written a law. The law says that this knife is legal because the judge said it. That's case law. The judge writes the law. If you have a liberal, fanatical, ultra left-wing judge, case law is very bad. If you have a judge that believes in the Constitution, case law is very good. Ice picks were deemed deadly weapons because the fucking gangsters in the 1920s used to stab guys in the back of the neck with them. Bayonets that you would attach onto a rifle and stab somebody with, they were deemed weapons. They were deemed dangerous weapons. But, like I said, you have to have intent to use it for commit a crime. So, if I have a bayonet and I have it on my wall and I say it's a exact replica of the World War II bayonet, it's legal. If I'm a convicted felon and I'm walking around the street at night and a cop stops me and he sees in my back pocket, we're gonna have a problem. Okay? So just keep the dangerous instruments in your home. Buy it, keep it in your home, put it on the wall, let it be displayed. Let it be displayed. Also, my personal opinion, Pete from the Armory Channel got a Cold Steel Espada. An Espada is a folding sword. It's a pocket knife sword. Espada means sword. It's a well over $200 knife from Cold Steel. It could cut a fucking table in half, it's so sharp. Okay? I said to Pete, because Pete said, I don't know if I should carry this. I said to Pete, listen, if you're in a bad neighborhood, a cop is going to stop you. Okay? If you're in a bad neighborhood and you see a corrupt cop, he's going to take it for himself. And corrupt cops, my uncle was out camping well over 30 years ago, before I was even born, out in the People's Republic of New Jersey, and he had a Bowie knife. And a cop saw him, and the cop said, wow, that knife is too long, I'm going to have to confiscate it. Okay? So, if you have a really sharp knife that costs $400 and it just could cut a fucking arm off somebody, my recommendation is keep it at home. Fuck what the law says, just keep it at home. Because if I had to open up a box, the last thing I want to do is whip out a Cold Steel Espada that can cut a body part off. Because if I whip out a Cold Steel Espada and you see that fucking sharp edge with that mean looking handle, and I go to cut the box open, if there's people around me, they're gonna, what the fuck? They're gonna start to freak out. This knife, I whip it out, cut the box open, not a big deal. If it looks really creepy, leave it at home. Save yourself a lot of problems. No matter what state, even if you live in Arizona, leave it at home. You don't want to attract attention. You don't want people to run away from you. You don't want a corrupt cop to steal it from you and say it's confiscated because of evidence of the law of... Okay, just do that. Now, New York City, we've already established that butterfly knives are illegal in New York City. We've already established that assisted opening knives are illegal in New York City. There are rumors going around. Now, 90% of the time, rumors are false. 10% of the time, they're true. I'd rather believe in a false rumor and stay out of trouble than not believe in a true rumor and get in trouble. I'd rather obey a fictitious law than disobey a real law and find out the hard way I'm disobeying it. Because you find out you've disobeyed the law when the cop has approached you and said, hands where I can see him. Don't make any sudden moves. That's when you know you broke the fucking law. When the cop's like, you stop. The law's been broken. Oh shit, I'm in trouble. There are rumors going around, and I said New York City, the length of a knife in New York City is 4 inches. The rest of New York State is 6 inches. I have heard rumors that the New York City knife law now is under 4 inches. Under 4 inches is the big word, big phrase. I've heard rumors that the knife law in New York City is now exactly 3 inches, nothing more. I've heard rumors that New York City does not want you to carry knives like this anymore. This is an old knife I got when I was in elementary school. No, high school. It's old, rusted, United Cutlery. It's nothing to be proud of, believe me. Plastic handle, not that bad. This is a Leatherman multi-tool. Okay. I hear it's illegal to walk around with this in New York City. I don't know that for a fact, but I hear it, and I would rather believe a false rumor than get in trouble. Also, I've heard a rumor that this is illegal too. They want you to carry a knife like this now. That's what I heard. They're rumors, but like I said, the knife laws can change any minute. I can tell you something right now, and the law can change tomorrow. Okay? Shit on a fucking stick. Okay, what is not a rumor? Knife rights. Okay, picture the Second Amendment Foundation, NRA, gun rights. Okay, knife rights. Replace gun with knife, and you got the Knife Rights Organization. Knife Rights is an organization that has filed a federal lawsuit against the Emperor. The Emperor, if you watched my last video, has a federal lawsuit because a handgun license application costs $340 when the rest of the state it costs $10. There were at least 2 people that were arrested in New York City. See the thumb studs? No, I don't use this fucking knife. The thumb stud. Okay? There were at least 2 people that I'm aware of that were arrested because their knife had a thumb stud on it, or it was a single hand open knife, and it was deemed either a gravity knife or a switchblade. Switchblade. I push the button and the knife springs out. Not a switchblade. Gravity knife. I clip the safety off, the blade drops out and falls into place. Not a gravity knife. Flying knife. I push the button and the knife flies into the guy's throat. Not a flying knife, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay? But these dudes got arrested for violating because they were believed to have a switchblade or gravity knife or some shit. They were arrested. They're suing in federal court. Now, Knife Rights originally filed a lawsuit against New York State as a whole, but then they realized what I already know. New York State and New York City are 2 different countries. We have a constitution, they don't. We have rights, they don't. Knife Rights realized that this is not a switchblade or a gravity knife in New York State. Neither is this. Husky. Brilliant. Okay? These are not illegal knives in New York State. If I hurt someone, then it's illegal. But unless I physically hurt someone, it's not illegal. So Knife Rights dropped the charge against New York State, but they continue the charge against New York City. Or the Kingdom, as I like to call it. Now, this is fucking crazy shit, Vin. We're not done yet, my friends. I bought these for my mother's birthday. They're Miracle Blades. I bought these for my mother's birthday about 9 years ago. Her birthday is today, as a matter of fact. And I came home. I bought them without her permission. I bought them online because I liked them. I bought them for her. And by the time I came home, she was already cooking with them, cleaning with them, and cutting with them. Rock and chopper, some shit. Bread knife. Fillet knife. Little fucking a cleaver thing. Okay. Okay. There was a 23-year-old person. You want the truth? He's an immigrant. Okay. Immigrant doesn't matter. Ted Bundy was a citizen, and so was Tim McVeigh. But this guy's 23 years old. History of drugs. A lot of fucking problems. He went on a rampage in Brooklyn. He stabbed he was charged with 4 murders, 2 assaults, and 2 robberies because he used an 8-inch knife to stab somebody. Now, I don't know if he got everybody in one room or if he went on a rampage, stabbed this person, got in the hall, stabbed another person, but he hurt a lot of people. He's a fucking psycho. And they found other kitchen knives in his car. You know where this is going, don't you? Yep. This is the word of the emperor. This tragic event demands that America inject some sanity, some kind of reasonable controls into its kitchen knife laws. No one but a professional chef needs an 8-inch knife. No one but a professional chef needs an entire collection of kitchen knives. Why was this person who had a criminal record able to buy kitchen knives with no sort of background check? Because anyone can walk into a hardware or kitchen supply store and buy any knife they want as easily as they can buy a blender or a calendar. Unlike guns, knives do not have to be reloaded, which increases their lethal potential. They are easily concealable and quiet. Shit. No civilian should have access to weapons this deadly. Kitchen knife dealers should be required to conduct background checks and report multiple sales. It is time to stand up to the kitchen knife lobby. The fucking kitchen knife lobby there is now. Jesus fucking. I call upon my fellow mayors to join me in the effort to place reasonable controls upon kitchen knives and end this madness. As God is my witness, I just read that. Now, convicted felons, people on probation, people on parole, people in custody, they have no rights as we do. For instance, when you're on probation or parole, you have no Fourth Amendment protection. Okay? You're on probation. You're on probation for a misdemeanor. Okay? Your probation officer comes to your apartment, orders your landlord or your superintendent to open your apartment while you're not there. He leaves your kitchen knives. He takes all of your folding knives, all of your fixed blade knives, all of your utility knives, work tools, and if necessary, guns. He leaves a little note on the table. Dear you, I took all your weapons. You'll get them back after your probation has ended. That's legal. Okay? A person on probation or parole has no right of privacy. Their probation officer or parole officer owns them. He can't come in their house and take their DVD player and sell it, but he can come in their house and take their weapons. He can come in their house and take their alcohol. He can come in their house and say, I want a urine test, I want to test you for drugs. Okay? So, if you passed a law, mayor, governor, sheriff passed a law that said convicted felons and those convicted of any assault cannot have a folding knife. That would be constitutional. If they say you, a law-abiding citizen that was never in trouble at all, can't have a knife, a folding knife, then there's a problem. Because you didn't do anything. You're a citizen. Now, when was the last time you went over someone's kitchen and did not see a block of knives? Okay? This didn't happen because kitchen knives exist. This happened because this guy's a fucking lunatic. Now, I will bet any of my viewers any amount of money they want that they can find at least 200 things in their home that are dangerous. You want to count knives? We'll count every knife individually. You want to count chairs? You want to count beer bottles? You want to count electrical cords? You want to count lamps? You want to count circular saw blades? You want to count shovels? You want to count axes? You want to count sledgehammers? You want to count regular hammers? You want to count utility knives? You can find at least 200 items in your home right now that you can use to kill somebody. Now, is there a law that says convicted felons can't be chefs? There are certain laws in New York that say if you're a convicted felon, you can't be a barber, you can't be a real estate agent, you can't be a security guard, you can't work for the government at any level. But I don't know about chefs. Remember Dominique Dunn, the actress from Poltergeist? She was murdered by an ex-boyfriend. She was murdered by some shithead. He strangled her to death. He sought her out and strangled her to death. He got 6 years for manslaughter. Then when he got out of prison on parole, he went to work in a diner. And her family came to the diner with signs that said, the person who made your hamburger strangled our, the hands that made your hamburger strangled our daughter. So, how do you know the cook isn't a convicted felon? Aren't all of our mothers cooks and some of our uncles and shit? Don't people like to cook in their own home? Don't they have to cut turkeys on Thanksgiving? Don't they have to cut frozen meat? Don't they have to cut giant loaves of bread? What are they gonna have a limit on the length of the knife? Have a limit on how many knives you have in the collection? Do background investigations, stamp serial numbers on them, register the fucking things? If a guy wants to open a restaurant in New York City, and keep in mind, New York City has any restaurant you can think of, from any nationality you can think of. Name a nationality, I'll find your people a restaurant in New York City. Assuming I'm not arrested for carrying this knife. What are you gonna do if you want to open a fucking restaurant in New York City? You gotta register all your knives. You gotta go down to the police department, pay $100 and fill out a form this big in order to get a fucking kitchen knife set? Is he gonna make it illegal for you to order a knife set online like I did this set? I ordered this online. I ordered this online. Yeah. Okay. This is the fucking lunacy we gotta deal with in this fucking world, man. Ugh. I have some homework assignments for you people. I want to talk about this. The emperor knows as much about the clock. The clock is invading my constitutional right to speak. I should sue the clock in court. My father loves clocks, I love guns. We all gotta keep busy. Okay, the emperor knows as much about psychology as he does about the Constitution. I had to take several psychology classes because you can't know about the law unless you know about what people are thinking. When someone is a maniac and they want to kill somebody, they'll kill them. It doesn't matter, that psychopath with the kitchen knives, if he didn't have kitchen knives, he would have found another weapon. He didn't kill him because he had a kitchen knife. He killed him because he was a fucking sick maniac. Okay, now, one of the greatest detectives of all time, I know he has a filthy mouth, is Mark Fuhrman. I know he's the only person convicted of any crime having to do with the O.J. Simpson trial. but Mark Fuhrman. Mark Fuhrman wrote this book. What weapon? OJ did it. Okay, if you're too fucking stupid to realize that, get off my channel. OJ did it. Now, according to Detective Fuhrman, what did OJ use to do it? A stiletto, right? According to Detective Fuhrman, according to Detective Fuhrman, a knife similar to this was used in both murders, Nicole and Ron. Their heads were nearly cut the fuck off. Very, very brutal murder. My father bought this to me when I was about 8, called the Victorinox Explorer, Swiss Army knife. Now, I read this book years after it took place. Remember Who Killed Martha Moxley? This book was written before the trial. Murder in Greenwich and Murder in Brentwood. 2 excellent books. I highly recommend you read them. Put past Mark Fuhrman's mouth. Forget about his mouth. Before this guy was brought to justice, this book was written and published. And in this book, Detective Fuhrman, who was a convicted felon because he lied about calling OJ a dirty word, former Detective Fuhrman said Michael Skako killed Martha Moxley, and he said it in the book. And after the book was published, he went on trial and they convicted his sorry ass. Without giving away too much information on the book, which is tremendous. Oh, remember I just mentioned Dominique Dunn? Forward was by her father. I forgot about that. Dominique Dunn's father did a forward to this book. Remember the Manson trial? Vincent Bugliosi, the prosecutor, he did a forward on this book. In fact, I might want to read these again one day. Great books. What was the murder weapon here? A golf club. This motherfucker went into his garage. He was in a fit of rage. He was 15 years old, the little fuckhead. He took out a golf club, beat her over the head with it until it broke, then took the shaft and impaled her in the fucking neck. Detective Fuhrman called that a weapon of convenience. I'm mad now. And because I'm mad now, I'm so fucking mad I gotta kill somebody, I'm gonna grab the first thing I can find to kill somebody. That was a golf club. Golf club, Swiss Army knife. Do your kids play baseball? Maybe not professionally. Maybe they just have a baseball bat and they play baseball in the yard. Maybe they play baseball in Little League or T-ball. You want me to hit you in the head with a baseball bat? Huh? You want a shovel? Maybe you dig a hole in your front yard and you put a mailbox in? Or you dig holes in your front yard to put fence posts in? Okay? Let me hit you in the face with a shovel a couple times. Okay? You cannot fucking control crime. Okay? If you want to control all crime, ban everything harder than my iPad. If it's harder than my iPad, ban it. After that, put everybody in a room made entirely out of rubber. Everyone should live in a room entirely made out of rubber. There should be surveillance cameras in every room, and there should be armed guards to come in and grab me if I try to smother someone against the rubber room wall. The rubber room's wall. Anybody that's a professional fighter, boxer, martial artist, cut their hands and feet off. Because their hands and feet are deadly weapons. Is that the way you want to live in? That's the only way to stop crime from happening entirely. I saw American Gangster. Ever see American Gangster? I saw American Gangster Larry Davis. Larry Davis was a thug that shot a bunch of cops, and he got stabbed in prison. He deserved it. They show video footage of the South Bronx in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Oh, shit. Now, South Bronx. Now, You ever see video footage of Berlin in 1945? That is literally what the South Bronx looked like in the 1980s and 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. I'm dead serious. Literally. Now, you ever see Berlin when I was a kid? Mid to late 80s? Yeah. I expect, because I live right near the Bronx. I'm in Yonkers, city of Yonkers, county of Westchester, state of New York. But I can walk to the Bronx, not the South Bronx, but I can walk to a part of the Bronx in maybe 20 minutes. I expect one night to see the searchlights go up and to hear the sirens and to have people run into my neighborhood with fucking dogs chasing them. Okay? This is fucking lunacy. Okay? And this is the shit we have. I mean, for Christ's sake, fucking kitchen knives? If you I said in one of my other videos, I said, if you live in New York City, move to Massachusetts, Hawaii, or California for better gun rights. How about this? For better rights as a whole, if you live in New York City, move to Cuba. Thank you.